So, hi everyone, here is Zoelle Rose coming to you live from southern Germany. So, childhood. Now that's a faraway land, right? How many of you out there are over 40? Or over 50? So, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's somewhere out there like a distant planet, revolving around your life. But it never really gets that far away, does it? Because we're kind of connected to it by this almost umbilical cord, right? And wherever we go, it comes along with us. And sometimes if we move too fast, it'll snap back and smack us right in the head. Childhood. Very, very powerful time of your life. Everything is brand new. You're learning everything, experiencing everything for the very first time. And it can be so overwhelming. There are so many colors, so many smells, so many sounds, so much movement. There are people. You're hungry. You have to go to the bathroom. You don't know what life is. And I'll always see a little child. Mother's trying to comfort it, but it's screaming the top of its tiny little lungs. And I just want to go over to it and say, you know what? You know, this is the easy part. It gets harder. Anyway, childhood. You know, the funny thing is that the older I get, the more I look back at my childhood as being the kind of quintessential me. You know, it's almost like everything in between has become this kind of blur. You know, faces have blurred, names have blurred, experiences have vanished, I've forgotten, but I can still remember everything from elementary school. I can still remember every boy I had a crush on in elementary school, okay? Now, I won't tell you their last names, but there was John M., for example, or David B. There was Philip T. There was Alain Resnais. There was, oh, that's enough. Anyway, and I can also remember every single one of my elementary school teachers. I can remember the name of the principal, Mr. Colbeth. There was Mrs. Wexler in kindergarten. There was Mrs. Goldrush in first grade. There was Mrs. Barry in second grade, and Miss O'Brien in third grade, such a lovely, soft woman. There was Mrs. Fine in fourth grade. She was a lovely person too. Mrs. Byrne. They were such wonderful people in fifth grade. And then I get to sixth grade and I've got Mrs. Golden. Now, Mrs. Golden was a very stern woman, okay? You know, the kind of woman, she wears these wire-rimmed glasses, these half-rimmed glasses, low down on her nose. So she's staring up at you over the nose like that. Mrs. Golden did me an invaluable service. Okay, she shamed me out of a very embarrassing habit. Thumb sucking. Should I have said that in public? Yeah, well, you know what? Like I said, it was kind of embarrassing, but it was true. Sixth grade, finally, that was the end of it. Anyway, childhood. I was such an anxious and very shy and very quiet little child, and I was terrified of the dark. I never wanted to go to sleep at night if I didn't have the light on. But my parents had a very strict rule, especially my father. Lights out. Didn't want me to be a sissy. Too late. I already was one. Anyway, so every night I'd have this routine. I'd have to check my closet. I would go through all my clothes, push them aside, check in my shoes up in the shelves above to make sure nobody was hiding in that closet in there. And then I would check my cupboards to make sure nobody crawled into that cupboard over there. But the most important one, under the bed. The monster that hides under the bed. You know that one, right? The one that is lurking down there waiting for you to take an innocent step out so that he can grab your ankle and yank you under. That's the terrifying monster, right? Well, usually my mother or my father would have to make these rounds with me. And finally, when they'd assured me there were no monsters anywhere in my room, I could finally get into bed and go to sleep. But then it would inevitably happen that in the middle of the night I'd have to wake up and go to the bathroom, right? So by this time, I couldn't be sure that there wasn't a monster under the bed. There might have been one that crawled in during those hours that I was asleep. They're sneaky that way. So, you have to calculate very carefully how far you're going to have to jump out of bed, hit the ground running, head to the bathroom, right, to make sure that that thing hasn't had a chance to get a hold of your ankle and yank you under the bed. And then you're coming back and you're going to have to, again, leap over that space between the bed and the floor. Well, I have made it. I always somehow or another managed to avoid the monster under my bed. And now I'm an adult. Right? Only occasionally have to check the closet or under the bed. But for the most part, I've given it up. I can trust for the most part that there are no monsters hiding in my room in the dark. Because you know what? What's the point of looking for them there? They are out, brazenly walking around in broad daylight, just strolling down the streets with their semi-automatic weapons. And I have to say, come on, guys. Where's your self-respect? I mean, show some consideration, some tradition. Get back under the bed. Go back into hiding. Let's go. Right? I mean, the nerve. Anyway, thanks for watching. Zoelle Rose saying good night.